I talk a lot about estrogenics on this channel. I mean, it's one of the basics if you're trying to increase your testosterone. Because the one thing that the high testosterone biohackers all have in common, whether they're vegan or carnivore, is that they all avoid estrogenics. Now, usually in my videos, I simply, go through the basics, or I don't go too much in details on how to avoid estrogenics. But in this video, I want to go deeper and tell you about all the things I know, action step. Actually, I have 24 action steps in this video that will help you make sure you're avoiding as much estrogenic as you can. Now, there won't be much of a coherent order to these action steps. I just have many lists, in my notepad on my computer of things to do to avoid estrogenics, and I simply, copy pasted them and put them inside a document, and I'm just gonna read that out for you. But at the end of this video, I'll share with you things you can do to speed up your body's natural detoxification system. Basically, will help you detoxify yourself from the estrogenics that are already inside your body. So without wasting your time, let's begin. First, and one of the most efficient thing you can do to remove estrogenics from your life is to replace all your plastic water bottles with a metal or a glass water bottle. Second, you need to start filtering your water. Now, I don't care what type of filter you use, as long as it's efficient. A carbon filter will be much less efficient than something like a reverse osmosis water filter, which is the one I currently own, and I strongly recommend you get a RO filter. Next, never heat up plastic. This means that you need to replace your plastic food containers, at least the one you use to put inside a microwave, with glass food containers, because it is when plastic is heated that it's most likely to leach inside your food. Now, this one is going to sound really specific, but if you're doing this, trust me, you need to stop right now. Never eat canned soup. Now, this sounds weird, but canned soup is one of the products that has the highest concentration of phthalates, one of the most well-known estrogenic. And fifth on this list will also sound specific, but replace your sea salt with pink Himalayan salt. Now, this sounds weird, but sea salt, I think you can understand why you want to replace sea salt with pink salt, is because sea salt is filled with microplastic. I mean, it comes from the ocean, and as you've probably seen, there's plenty of plastic in the ocean. Whilst Himalayan salt coming from the mountains has much less plastic contamination. Also, if you're currently using a sort of non-stick pan, you absolutely want to replace those with a cast iron pan or a normal stainless steel pan. Like the fourth tip on this video, which was to never eat canned soup, you also want to avoid anything that is inside a can, especially canned drinks. Now, I'm talking about things like, these sparkling drinks that are inside little cans. The inside of these cans are coated with estrogenic substances. Things like forever chemicals that, as the name suggests, will stay inside your body forever. Now, I'm pretty woke at removing estrogenics, and I'm doing already all the things I mentioned, I'm already doing them. But this one action step, I'm not doing it yet, but I really plan to do it in the future. It just requires a lot of work, and that is to go to the farmer's market instead of going to the grocery store. And you want to bring like a glass jar and try to avoid all the food that is touching plastic. This can be extremely hard. I mean, let's say you go and try to buy some meat. Usually it's stored in plastic. Now, yeah, you could go to the butcher and try to buy meat that's not touching plastic. It's possible, but I'm not yet doing it. So I just want to tell you guys this. Next is to never eat microwave popcorn, or basically never eat popcorn. Like, it's always going to be filled with a lot of microplastics. Your toothpaste is also filled with estrogenic substances, and on top of that, the tube of your toothpaste is leaching microplastic inside your toothpaste. Now, there's a very simple way to replace your normal toothpaste. Yes, you can buy these expensive natural toothpaste, but one thing that is extremely cheap and that is the healthiest thing you can do is make your own toothpaste. Now, I've got a video about how to make your own toothpaste on this channel, but basically you need two ingredients: coconut oil and baking soda, and you just mix those together. It's not gonna taste too good, but it's gonna be very efficient at first, cleaning your teeth. But also, it's completely natural and good for your body. There are things that you could basically just eat and be okay. Now we're already at the 11th action step in this video, which is to completely avoid touching any type of receipts. Now, this does not apply to all the receipts, but these receipts that you get when you buy stuff are usually coated in estrogenic substances. And sometimes the coating can be extremely concentrated in certain estrogenics that are extremely volatile and bad for your health. Now, this one is going to be controversial, but you need to be careful on how you use sunscreen and hand sanitizer, because these two things not only are filled with estrogenic substances, except if you I know there's some type of sunscreen that are mineral based, that are much healthier options. Yes, you can do those. And same thing for the sanitizer. But these two things also increase your sensitivity to microplastic. So if you keep applying those and then touching plastic, you'll be more likely to increase the amount of microplastic you're intaking inside your body. Now this one is a big one. 13 on this list is to completely stop using any type of product that has the ingredient fragrance. Because if you don't know already, fragrance is not one ingredient. Inside fragrance, there's sometimes hundreds of ingredients. And why brands label the ingredient simply fragrance is because they want to keep the formula a secret so that the next brand cannot just simply copy them. And this means that inside fragrance, there could be anything. And it has been shown that basically all fragrance, at least the ones that are synthetic, that are not based on natural oils, are extremely estrogenics. And if you simply cut out fragrance, you'll instantly be increasing your testosterone levels. 14th on this list is to cut out everything that holds color. Things that are extremely bright and colorful usually are coated with phthalates. And this brings me on to the 15th action step, which is to use natural clothing. Basically, you want to avoid the synthetic type of clothing. When it's written polyester, it's basically just plastic synthetic clothing. And these clothing are actually toxic for you, especially if it's touching your skin and you're sweating inside of it. Now, you want to replace them with cotton, but if I'm going to be honest with you, simply replacing it with cotton, which is basically what I'm doing, is not going to remove 100% of the bad chemicals. It's going to do a great job, but also you will need to make sure that the cotton is not only organic, but that if it's colored with plant-based dyes. Now, like I said, I'm not only buying organic cotton, I'm just buying normal cotton. But if you want to go that step further, these are the things that you gotta do. 16th on this list is to buy only organic food. Now, just like you would need to buy organic cotton, you buy organic food because it's not filled with pesticides. Now, like avoiding your normal toothpaste, you also need to avoid the normal deodorant. Now, deodorant is a must for everyone. You cannot simply cut it out. So what you gotta do is either buy these expensive natural deodorants that are sometimes filled with estrogenic substances, or what you can do is make your own deodorant, which is also what I'm doing, and I made a video on it. And basically, it's the same formula that you use for your toothpaste. Now, I know this might sound weird, but it's the same thing you need: coconut oil and baking soda. You just apply them to your armpits, and trust me, it works very well. Now, 18th on this list is to completely stop shampoo. Basically, I know not many people know this already, but I know that it's gonna be a common fact in the future, but shampoo is basically a scam. Now, you might be looking at me with a busket and be like, yeah, of course you don't need shampoo. But even when I had much longer hair, I never used shampoo. I used to use it. I would get these white flakes and my hair would be all dry and dead. And then I simply did a shampoo detox. So you slowly stop using shampoo. And then you realize that when you never use shampoo, your hair is not only healthier, well, you're not putting estrogenics on your head, but also your hair looks so much better. It's more alive, it holds better. So you would need to do a slow detox of shampoo or simply buzz your hair. but I doubt you'll be willing to do that. Now, 19th on this list, which will not apply to everyone, but if you can, completely cut out, your normal body soap. You want to get rid of those. Now, personally, I basically never use soap. I just wash myself very well twice a day with water. And I put deodorant. And I don't smell bad. But if you're the type of guy that smells extremely bad, what you can do is buy these natural soaps. I used to do that, and I found out that sometimes in these natural soaps there's still stuff that is estrogenic. But also you could make your own natural soap. Now we're getting to the end, but the 20th action step in this video is to stop using candles, or even worse, scented candles. But since you're already not using anything that has fragrance inside of it, according to the earlier action steps, you know that scented candles is extremely estrogenic for you. You're basically just leaching estrogenic inside the air and then breathing it. So if you're living with your mom or you're at your workplace and someone's using a scented candle, try to get rid of it. The 21st action step in this video is to stop using plastic cooking utensils. Basically, when you use like a plastic spatula, I don't know, you're cooking some eggs. When you're doing that, there's plastic from your spatula that is leaching inside your food. Instead, you use wood or you use metal. Now, this is also true for your chopping board. Now, you're not going to use a metal chopping board, but instead of using these plastic chopping board, which whenever you cut with this plastic chopping board, you're basically cutting plastic and putting it on your food, inside your food, you want to use a wood chopping board. Or there's also these boards that are made of like wax, seeds, natural stuff that is also a healthy option. Now, 23rd on this list is about coffee. Now, personally, I don't drink coffee, but you gotta make sure that if you're drinking coffee and you're making coffee, how are you making it? Because when you make coffee, you'll need to heat it up. And if when it's being heated up, it's in contact with like plastic or a coating that is estrogenic, it's going to be one of the best ways to intake estrogenics. So you absolutely need to avoid making coffee that way. But there are better ways to make coffee that don't involve estrogenics or plastic. And the final action step on this list, the 24th action step, is to keep the air inside your home as clean and as fresh as possible. This means that you open your windows. Now, even when it's winter, sometimes you want to try to open your windows, open the doors and let the fresh air come in. And also, if you can, you want to make sure you have a great air filter. Now, you can buy these small unit air filters or install them in your ventilation. So now that we got all of the 24th action step on how to get rid of estrogenics, let's talk about how you can speed up your natural body detoxification system. Now, for this one, I only have 3 action steps, but trust me, these 3 are plenty. Now, the first thing you gotta do is eat as much dark green vegetables as you can, because it has been shown that these dark green vegetables can actually increase your liver's ability to detoxify itself. And second on this list, which kind of relates to the first one, is to eat more fibers. Basically, fibers, healthy fibers, are actually going to help your body detoxify itself. And last on this list is to sweat a lot. The more you'll be able to sweat, the more you'll be able to detoxify your body. Now, there's a little bit of research on detoxifying yourself via sweating, but we don't really know how efficient it is. But here's a few ways you could try to sweat more. One of the first things that comes to mind is simply hopping inside of a sauna. It's probably one of the most efficient ways to sweat a lot and therefore detoxify your body. Next would be you put on a hoodie and you go for a run, or you hit a hard gym session. Stuff like that, stuff that makes you sweat a lot. Now, I've been recording for like the past 25 minutes. I've shared with you a lot of action steps, of things you can do to reduce your intake of estrogenic substances, and also how you can speed up your detoxifying process. I hope you took notes, because if you didn't, you'll need to watch this video over and over again, which is kind of great for me actually. Also, in the description, there's a link which is going to take you to this website called Calendly. And on this website, you'll be able to book a free one-to-one call with me. And we're basically just have a one-to-one chat, a friendly chat, and we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. If you want to talk about how to increase your testosterone, I can give you personalized advice on how you can personally increase your testosterone levels. And if you want, we can also talk about estrogenics. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah!